All right, let's jump right in. We're about to take a little trip back in time, and our guide is this amazing scrapbook put together by a man named Arthur L. Clamp. It's just full of old newspaper clippings and photos that tell the story of this one small English village, Elburton, over a span of 70 years.
I mean, seriously, think about that for a second. We're not talking about the big, grand histories of kings and queens. We're talking about the everyday stuff, the triumphs, the little dramas, and the funny moments that actually make a place feel like home. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
So, let's make it official. Welcome to Old Elburton. We're about to step right into the pages of these old local papers and see this village not as it is today, but as it was decades and decades ago.
And this is where our journey starts. This photo shows the absolute heart of the village, the main road. You can see the little shops, the cottages, the old village cross. This one street was the stage for so much of what we're about to discover.
Because, what really makes a village a village? It's the people. So let's take a look at how the community in Elburton came together for celebrations and, for some good old-fashioned hard work, too.
Just check out this report from 1921. It calls the Elburton Annual Sports Day a terrific success. You gotta love a good pun, right? You can just feel the fun jumping off the page. It was organized by a Mr. Hine, and it was a whole day of high jumps, sack races, and teas for everybody. The article even says the kids' cheers must have been heard in Plymouth. I mean, it just sounds like the perfect day.
But that kind of community spirit, it isn't all just fun and games. This quote here, it's from a 1939 article about the annual church bazaar. And it's a great reminder that these wonderful events were built on real effort. 2 full weeks of hard work by volunteers, all for that reward of seeing their community just thrive. So the key thing is, this spirit, it was something they had to actively build together. Of course, the story of any place is also a story of change and goodbyes. So let's shift gears a bit and explore a different, more poignant side of Elburton's history, those moments of farewell.
For years and years, this was Elburton's lifeline, the train station. It was so much more than just a building. It was the village's connection to the entire wider world, to jobs, to family, to everything beyond its own borders. It was a huge part of daily life.
And then, then came that moment, the one that would change the whole rhythm of the village for good. Wow. In 1947, on the day the very last train left, the local paper captured the feeling with this incredible line. It talks about the train, the old iron horse, as if it was a living thing, as if it too felt the sadness of leaving. You can almost hear that final whistle echoing through the village. And the goodbyes weren't just for places. They were for people, too. In 1952, the village came together to pay tribute to their ex-policeman, Mr. J. Hosford, when he retired. He was celebrated for his 17 years of cheerful and energetic service. It's these personal moments that really show you just how tight-knit this community was. But life in a small village isn't always so predictable. Sometimes the completely unexpected happens, and you get a sudden jolt of real drama. After hearing about sports days and fond farewells, you might think so. But what happens when something totally out of the ordinary shatters that peace? Okay, this is where things get tense. Picture it. It's 1959. There's a huge storm, and afterwards, this deep hole just opens up in the ground. Nobody knows what it is, but with the war still a fresh memory, there's one really serious concern: an unexploded bomb. This quote from the newspaper really drives home the tension. The Royal Engineers were called in, and this was their assessment. They might have to dig 30 feet down to figure out what was going on. Can you just imagine the entire village holding its breath, waiting to find out what was buried right under their feet? A real-life bomb scare in the middle of Elburton. Okay, so from high drama to, high comedy. Village life is just full of surprises. Let's look at a story that's less about tension and more about a truly one-in-a-million coincidence. You could not make this up. Also in 1959, a woman from Elburton goes to a cafe to meet her cousin, who she hadn't seen in years and was visiting all the way from Toronto. So she thinks she sees him, goes up to a guy at another table and starts talking. Turns out, nope, not a cousin. But here is the absolutely wild part. He's a complete stranger who also just happens to be from Toronto on his very first trip to England. I mean, what are the odds? It's just a perfect little story of small-town life bumping into the big wide world.
And as we get near the end of our journey here, I just want to pause on this image. This is a peace medal.
In 1919, right after the Great War ended, a local benefactor gave one of these to every single child in Elburton, all 110 of them. It's such a powerful symbol of hope, of resilience, and of the community's deep commitment to its next generation.
So, as we've seen, the spirit of a place like Elburton, it isn't found in just one big event. It's woven together from hundreds of these small threads. A successful sports day, a sad goodbye to a train, a tense bomb scare, and a hilarious mix-up in a cafe. These are the moments that truly build a community.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thought. These stories from Elburton are over 70 years old, but the idea behind them is absolutely timeless. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are the little-known stories, the quiet dramas, and the shared memories that make up the fabric of the place where you live?